Welcome to enVisioning Success, the weekly podcast where Laura Di Benedetto and Julia Becker-Collins share tips, suggestions, and stories to help you succeed in business. In today's episode, we explore 5 strategies for choosing the right cost and quality marketing for your organization, such as focusing on ROI, hiring experts, thinking long-term, and avoiding hidden costs. And now, here's Laura and Julia.
Hey friend, we're here talking about cheap marketing. This is enVisioning Success. My name is Laura Di Benedetto, and I'm joined by the always lovely and talented Julia Becker-Collins. And we're here to help you make a truckload of money without the frustration. So today's episode, cheap marketing. Everybody wants to cut the corners. We're going to talk about that. Can you? Should you? How do you do it? Where can you save? Where do you not save? So the show is lovingly sponsored by the company I created when I was just a wee baby 25 years ago. Go to vision-advertising.com if you're looking for some really awesome marketing advice. Here's the thing that nobody tells you about marketers. Most of us are dirtbags and you can't trust us as far as you can throw us. And there's a damn good reason for that because there's a low barrier to entry to this field. And a lot of people think they know what they're doing and they don't. So here's the difference. I'm not trying to make people happy. I'm trying to make people rich. So I speak truth. That's what Julia does. That's why I brought her on years ago. And here we are. We get results and we don't F around. So all of that said, let's talk about cheap marketing. Is it actually a thing? Can you go like super discount Dave on your marketing and have it work? Inquiring minds want to know.
Yes.
So here's the bottom line for you. Largely, you're going to get screwed if you try to cheap out on your marketing. Largely. So I have built marketing plans for an embarrassingly long period of time. I've built sales strategies for people. I've built all kinds of different things. And here's what happens. Inevitably, you get the tiny little business that will say to you, yeah, I love the proposal. I love your ideas, love the marketing plan, or love the blah, blah, pick your noun, right? And yeah, but I just don't want to spend that much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Totally legit. I get that. So what I want to do is I want to spend maybe a third. And I figure once the program really starts working, then I'll invest more. Here's the problem. That doesn't work. When you underfund your marketing program, there's a disproportionate problem that happens that I have a hard time explaining to people because people think that marketers are liars, and largely a lot of us are. And, you know, lots of people in our shoes just tell you what you want to hear. I want desperately to tell you that if you invest a third of a marketing budget that's recommended to you, you will get a third of the results and it will be proportional. That is not reality. What happens is if you underfund it, you may actually see 0 results. You might see a little bit. You might maybe see like, instead of the 30% of the results with 30% of the budget, you might see 15. But the thing is, the results also are disproportional on the other end. When you invest higher, typically you will also see disproportionately higher returns. The reason for this, it's a couple-fold, and we're going to get into this. But one of the things that absolutely kills me is I know people want to save money. They don't want to take a lot of risks. That's why you need data to make sure that you're making good decisions. And that's really, really imperative to this conversation. You know, you don't gamble with your marketing investments. You don't just guess. That's why you have plans. And when you're looking at disproportional returns that are like, holy moly, that's amazing, it's because you have made a data-driven decision, not a fear-based decision. So fear will keep you broke and it will actually screw you over. So this is a very important conversation to me specifically, just because I've had this conversation about 8,000 times and I'm tired of seeing, I hate saying it, the smaller business owners get screwed because they're afraid. I would rather that you take your time, understand how this works, maybe get a loan or save up so then you can afford to do it correctly, you know, versus rushing in and doing it half-ass. Go whole ass or nothing.
That's what I always say.
That's my professional advice.
Whole ass or nothing.
Yeah. Go big or go home.
Should be our logo, motto, whatever, tagline.
We should get that on a t-shirt. Just put a donkey on it. Whole ass or nothing.
I love it. That's hilarious.
So what do you think, Julia? Am I spitting truth or what?
Absolutely. Like we talked about last episode when we said you need a website so that you can own your data. And then towards the end of the episode, we talked about the data you get from Google Analytics. All of that information helps you to make really good decisions when it comes to the cost and how much you're going to invest financially in your marketing. As I have said, I don't even know, a million times at this point. You have three resources. You have time, you have money, and you have expertise. Time is your most valuable resource and you can't get it back. You can make back your money and you can hire or learn for expertise. You'll never get your time back. And cheap marketing, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, is a waste of your time. So sometimes it's better to figure out where you should be investing financially and your time rather than kind of doing a spray and pray and having somebody just kind of post all over the place. Use that data and figure out what is the best investment of your resources.
Yeah, for sure. Spray and pray is another form of spaghetti marketing, another form of just basically guessing.
Mm-hmm.
We're a huge fan of planning at our agency. We really, really advise that people actually think about this stuff. And the big mistake that people make is going to a marketing agency and looking for marketing tactics. These are the things that you do. What you need, and this is how to buy it correctly, is you need a marketing strategy that informs the tactics and the approach to the tactics and all of that stuff. Most people just want to buy tactics, not realizing how absolutely vital it is to have a good strategy. Now, there's 5 tips. We're kind of following this theme. I love the whole 5 tips things for you. There's more of that, imagine, in this episode too. And the first one is value over cost. It's kind of like if you're looking to buy a business, it's all about the terms rather than the purchase price. Well, you need to think about the results of your program versus necessarily the cost of it. Yes, the cost is a valuable metric, but what are you going to get out of it? And how do you know who to trust? These are really, really important things. Believe me, if you follow me on LinkedIn, you know that I've told you quite transparently that there are a lot of unscrupulous people out there, and there are great ways to tell who's good and who's not. One of the best ways is data.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell if they're willing to actually show you their cards and be like, look, this is a data-driven plan. This is the research we've done for you versus me guessing and trying to sell you this thing so I can put food on my kids' table, but screw your kids.
Yep, absolutely.
That's really, really dangerous. So you want to focus on the value over the cost. Yes, cost matters, but when you align your business and your marketing strategies with your business goals, that is really important. And honestly, cheap tactics can result in very poor outcomes. It can damage your brand, drain your resources. And Julia, I love that you made this point. People are so willing to just piss their time away and hold on to their money. It's backwards.
Correct.
Hang on to your time. It's the one thing you can't make more of. You can't. If you think about this from a spiritual perspective, right? Go there. You can't make more time. You make more money, right? Be judicious with not wasting your time. Here's a great example. Well, I had a client recently who was really reluctant to receive help. Well, we're going to try it on our own for a little while. Guess what? You just cost yourself 6 months because it didn't work. Didn't want to take my advice, didn't want to accept leadership, didn't want to accept help. Guess what? They're 6 months down the drain. And guess what? They're in the exact same position.
Right.
This could be prevented. You have to sometimes be courageous and be like, shoot, man, time is very valuable. Like you think when you're younger, oh, I got a 10-year goal, 6 months doesn't matter. Yeah, it does.
Right.
6 months really can derail you. It's literally 5% of a 10-year goal.
In a past episode, we talked about how to review or view different marketing partners if you're looking to hire somebody. And one of the things we talked about was, do those marketing partners think about tasks or do they think about the goal and the strategy? And oftentimes, when somebody is a more cost-effective option in terms of it's going to cost you $200 instead of $20,000, that person who is offering the cheaper option is more task-based, which means they are not coming from the perspective of, will this help you move the needle in the direction you need to go to? They are thinking about, I'm going to do 4 Facebook posts a week. And they don't even think about, is Facebook the correct place for you?
Yep. I'm moaning. If you're not on YouTube, I'm like going, oh my God, because like this is like the bane of my existence. A big part of the reason why we wanted to do this show is because we really want to help people to be able to buy this better. Even if we're not the right agency for you, we want you to know how to buy marketing. We know how hard it is to buy marketing because we sell marketing. And the questions that we get all the time in the sales process demonstrate that people don't know how to buy this. And therefore, people buy it incorrectly all the time. And Julia and I keep joking that we are like the PTSD recovery center for battered and abused clients. Mm-hmm. Because when people finally come over to from the dark side to the light side and they realize what data and strategy and proper planning look like, it's like, oh, God, I wish I found you years ago. Okay, well, that's great. You didn't, but you're here now. And like, these people suffered for years doing the wrong thing because they hired tacticians. They hired people who are really great at order filling. Mm-hmm. And most people will make the mistake of hiring a marketer. Oh, I need somebody to run my Facebook for me. So then they go out and look for a Facebook marketing company. Stop trying to control this thing. You are not qualified to design your own marketing plan unless you are doing this. There's a major assumption that in marketing, anybody can do it and that the low barrier to entry is a good thing. It is not a good thing. There is a very frighteningly low barrier to entry in marketing. And listen, I started this company when I was 19 years old. I'm grateful for the low barrier to entry, but also I was a tactician years ago and it was fine.
Right.
But like what you truly want as a business owner is you want a strategist who is surrounded by tacticians who can execute the strategy. That's what you truly want. Does it cost more? Yes. And it should.
Right.
Because you're going to make money on it versus you calling the shots on the thing you're not qualified to call the shots on.
Correct.
No offense.
No.
I'm not qualified to coach the Pats. Nobody wants that.
Okay. What is the next point, Laura?
So the next point is long-term thinking. I mean, I keep hammering this point about like strategy, but like proper marketing, it requires effective planning and proper investment. And it really requires data in order to build a proper plan. It requires research, a good marketing plan. I just finished one for a client. It took me 50 hours to do it. A proper marketing plan, a damn good one, requires research and pulling data and industry trends and intimately understanding things, because that's how you safeguard yourself against making mistakes, right?
Right.
So when you do short-term, inexpensive spray and pray stuff like Julia talked about, oh my God, you're just pissing money away because you're just guessing. It rarely yields sustainable growth. I mean, listen, if you're listening to this show and you're a brand new business owner, I'm excited that you just started your business. But I want you to actually imagine yourself as a business owner 20 years from now. What would 20 years from now you wish you were doing right now to help you be bigger, badder, richer, happier, not stressed out 20 years from now?
Right.
It's based on the decisions that you make today and trying to do shortcutty things. And I'm just going to do what I can and I'm just going to get by. No, please, for the love of all things holy, think long-term. Make sure that you can do things appropriately. And if you have to go out and find money to be able to do it correctly, maybe that's what you need to do, because that's long-term thinking.
Right. And this goes back to what we were saying earlier about your time being your most important resource. So if you're thinking short-term, you're not necessarily thinking about the long-term investment of time of hiring the wrong person or hiring somebody that you have to manage heavily, or that you're doing the wrong kind of marketing. So you want to get to that 20-year goal sooner rather than later, rather than hiring somebody unqualified or that's focused on task or is the, cost-cutting option, the generic, if you will, the Costco brand of marketing. Then you're going to get what you pay for.
Excuse me. Costco is actually really good, and Kirkland brand is very high standards. I resent that.
Sorry. But yes, it's,
You mean Walmart brand.
Basically. Marketing is something where you definitely get what you pay for. And that's often true with services. Sometimes with products, it's not true. Generic Advil and name brand Advil, pretty similar, versus generic services versus name brand services. You're really going to get what you pay for. So you have to do the research and not just look for the cheapest option.
Yep, 1,000%. Why don't you talk about the next point?
So our third actionable tip for today is to focus on ROI. ROI being return on investment. It's not just a fancy term that you hear at Harvard Business School. It is actually something important that you need to be thinking about at every stage of your business and your marketing. You want to evaluate marketing investments based on potential return on investment rather than upfront costs, which goes exactly back to what I was saying earlier. Quality efforts bring quality returns. If you are focused only on, I want to spend the least amount of money possible, then you are going to get the least return. Like Laura was saying earlier, marketing is something where it is disproportionate if you don't spend or if you do spend, and that's just the reality of it. Don't shoot the messenger. You know, the evil overlords are how they are, and we are here to try to get you into the best position possible. But the reality is what it is. It's, if you think that you can spend less, then you think black is white and up is down. So,
right. There's probably a 0.6 on this that we probably didn't put on it, but should. Don't buy according to tactics ever. I mentioned that, but never buy according to tactics. Buy according to return on investment, strategic planning.
Right.
So focusing on ROI will help you to do that. Great example. I had a construction guy approach me years ago. Dude was basically covered in dirt every day of his life. Totally fine. We appreciate these fine, hardworking gentlemen. But he's like, I need Facebook marketing. And I was like, with all due respect, sir, no, you don't.
Right.
What you need is a different program. He's like, yeah, but everybody's on Facebook. Yeah, but that's not how people buy your service. If you really want to make money, you need to put yourself here. And I advised him a Google advertising and marketing strategy instead, because that's how people were searching for his particular service. It is imperative that you find a good marketer who will have the courage to disagree with you and not let you drive. I know for a fact I've said this in other episodes, but you don't want to drive your marketing strategy. You want your marketing strategist to drive your marketing strategy. And I mean, essentially think of it as your chief marketing officer, your outsourced CMO. You're going to trust that person to drive the strategy. Please, please, please don't buy this incorrectly by trying to hire technicians.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Laura, what is point number 4?
Point 4 is avoiding hidden costs. There's a lot of those. Failure is one of them, right? Inexpensive marketing can lead to hidden costs like brand damage, believe it or not, lost leads, and additional spending to fix the mistakes. I'll give you a great example. Someone that I love very dearly decided to have her VA in the Philippines take over her Instagram for like $5 an hour. And the VA, started spamming people on Instagram. Well, guess what? She had her account for something like 12 years, and now she's been permanently kicked off of Instagram. And that's a hidden cost because now she has to start over, and she wasted all of that time and money because she had someone as a technician doing something they shouldn't do. That's a hidden cost of doing it wrong and trying to cheap out and save money. And look, I get it. Brand new startups make these mistakes all the time. This is a great show for startups. You can save a truckload of money just by listening to the show and oh my God, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That's a great example. But there's also missed opportunities. Like if you kind of like slap your funnel together and it doesn't work, you're going to miss leads. If you slap a landing page together and you don't do a good job and it's not high quality because you only wanted to invest in the cheapest, people will not buy from you and leads will not convert. Quality is so important. So when it comes to avoiding hidden costs, you really have to understand that poor quality has a very high price. And when I tell you, you will pay for quality, whether you pay for it directly or not, I cannot be more sincere. When you pay for quality, you shell out the money and you get it done right the first time. When you don't pay for quality, you pay for it in terms of consequences and opportunity cost.
Mm-hmm.
They're both expensive, but one actually gets you somewhere and one doesn't.
Right.
So, I mean, they both hurt, but pick your hurt.
Pick your pain.
Yes. Oh God, there's even this woman that I'm speaking with right now. She's had a restaurant for the last 2 years and they haven't turned a profit in 1 month. that they've been open. I'm like, cool. There's a need for an intervention right now. You need marketing. Yeah, I know she doesn't want to do marketing. Cool. How's that working out? Like, yeah, but she doesn't want to spend the money. But she already is spending the money. And that's in the form of missed profits that your mom is not receiving for this business that she owns. So what she's doing, this poor woman, for 2 years, 24 months, 700 and some odd days, this woman has put her blood, sweat, and tears into this restaurant, and she's got nothing back out of it but stress and backaches.
Right.
Don't do that.
That is definitely the definition of short-term versus long-term thinking.
And that's definitely a hidden cost.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to cheap out, you will pay for it, just not in the way you think.
Absolutely.
So the last one, let's talk about that one, Julia.
So our fifth actionable tip for today is professional expertise. Hire experienced professionals who can craft strategies that resonate with your audience and reflect your brand values. This is just beating the same drum again about you get what you pay for, and we're thinking about strategy. We're coming from a place of why rather than clicking the box and doing the task. You know, when you hire somebody who is a strategist, who is a professional, they can often be beyond the cheapest option. It goes back to what I said earlier. You get what you pay for with services. I think I referenced this yesterday in a webinar presentation I was doing where you can get a haircut at Supercuts for $12, or you can go to a salon and get a haircut, and they both will physically cut your hair, but those will not be the same haircuts.
No, they won't.
So there's a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh boy, I can't wait for the next episode. So you're right about the professional expertise. So the next episode is all about levels of professional expertise and who's qualified. So this episode is really all about, cheap marketing and how it's kind of a lie and how cheap is actually very expensive. Making a good investment will pay you, whereas investing to save money will actually probably hurt you and cost you money in the long run. And I just want to acknowledge, I understand I am a marketer saying this to you, and my advice is suspect. I get that. There's a lot of marketers who will lie to you, and there is a very low barrier to entry to this field. But I will tell you that after 25 years, I don't give a shit. If people are not wanting to trust me because they think I'm a marketer, that's fine. But if people are willing to trust the fact that I speak truth and I don't care if you like me for it or not, and I'm willing to make enemies, that should tell you something. I kick the hornet's nest every damn day, and it's important. You need to have someone on your side, be it me, be it Julia, be it someone else who is unafraid to piss you off, unafraid to speak truth to you, unafraid to argue with you, for you, tell you what you don't want to hear, argue and risk losing the sale. Like, integrity is curmudgeonly. Sorry, it's not being agreeable. Integrity is oftentimes very disagreeable. What is that favorite phrase of yours? It's like, to be clear is to be kind.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's the same thing. It is absolutely imperative that you find yourself a partner who has integrity. They're hard to find. And you know what? Get on ChatGPT if you want to. Follow me on LinkedIn. Follow my stuff. How do I find a high integrity marketer? What are the questions I should ask? These are really good things. You can sniff out integrity. Make sure you look for that, because that will help you make lots of money. Be it with me, Julia, somebody else in a different country. I don't care, but please choose well.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. I'm going to wrap this episode up. I'm excited to talk to you about the next episode. It's going to really help you. I'm totally not even going to spoil it. So I will see you the next episode. Thank you for tuning in. Please drop some reviews of the episode and the show. Share it with your friends. Maybe we'll actually get a bunch of listeners. That would be really neat. Again, this is free marketing education for you. And we'll see you in the next episode.